Welcome to Wednesday Comics.
Brought to you by rootsoftheswampthing.com and SuperCon 2018 Return of the Con.
Hey everyone, keep turning those pages.
Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, Donnie to my Marie. There he is. Alex, how you doing?
Hello everybody. I am a little bit country.
No, Donnie's a little rock and roll.
I'm Marie.
Yeah, you're the Donnie to my Marie.
Oh, I'm a little bit rock and roll.
He's a little bit rock and roll, a little bit country. This is Marvin's Wednesday Comics podcast. Here to talk about comic books that came out the first week of June. We're going to review some and then play a game at the end.
The 5th.
June 5th, 2019. Next year, 2020. Perfect Vision. Across from us is nobody because Garrett is off playing bingo because he is 65 years old. So, he says we're old. Then he goes plays bingo on a Sunday night. Yep. Meanwhile, we're here talking comic books. Who's old now? It's a good thing because he's financing the final game. Prize money comes from Garrett. I'll tell you that much more later. Wednesday Comics Podcast. Here we are with the beginning, what we call free talk. You know what? Started this before I even thought of anything. But actually, let's go ahead and talk about this. We had something we were talking about. Oh, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
So here's the thing I want to tell you about this. So there's two stories kind of going around right now. Is that Swamp Thing premiered last week. Second episode just came out this last Friday. It's canceled already. They canceled it like last Sunday or something like that, Monday. And the reason why they canceled it is out there. I'll tell you that here in a second. And then their DC Universe, that subscription service is looking like it might be merging with a different one. So who knows what's going to happen there. But here's it. So Swamp Thing was shooting in Louisiana, I believe.
Yep.
And they had signed up to get a tax break. So in certain states, if you film there, like Georgia's a big one. That's why Walking Dead films there and a bunch of other movies filmed there all the time in Atlanta. Is because the state will give them money back for filming there because they create jobs and stuff like that. So when they go there, people they have to hire people locally. And so as an incentive, the people say, we'll give you some money back because you're creating jobs for other people. So I believe Swamp Thing was going to go there. It had a huge budget already because it's Swamp Thing for special effects. And they had James Wan as director, all this stuff. And they were going to get a $40 million tax break by filming there, right? They filled out the paperwork, sent it in. And somebody at the county clerk office failed to file it the correct way. And so they weren't going to get that tax break. So that's why they cut the episodes down. And that's why they canceled it because it cost too much. That's the word out there right now. From one of the writers in the show. Who knows if that's true, but he's writing the show. I would expect that he probably knows what's going on. But then, overall, out of that came news that AT&T, which recently bought Warner Brothers, is looking to merge their AT&T streaming service, which they have with DirecTV, with all their Warner Brothers stuff, movies, TV shows, DC. And so they're looking to probably end DC Universe, the streaming service that it's on, and just merge everything into one thing because they own HBO, they own DirecTV, and Warner Brothers. So they would all put it underneath one streaming service, and they're looking at about $16 a month, $16, $17 a month. I was talking to Garrett about that. I said, Garrett, how do you feel about that? Because this guy paid for a year in advance for DC Universe. And I say, if it goes under a year, do they give you a refund or what goes on there? I think they just say, hey.
Yep. Tough nuggies.
I mean, you paid ahead. That was a risk in paying ahead.
Yep.
Was that you might just not get it. They might give them something. They might be like, here's a credit for DC Comics or Comixology or something like that. But who knows?
I would doubt that. And I'm sure they're going to take all the money they can get going.
Maybe we'll get a 50% off coupon at the Warner Brothers store. Who knows? You can buy a figure or something like that. But so a big part of this is that me and Garrett work at a telecommunications company together, so we get free cable. So part of that Warner Brothers thing was that it would come with HBO, Cinemax, to kind of justify the $16. Because right now, if you get HBO now, what it's called, HBO stream service, it's $16. So if they're going to make everything together, make $16, not a bad deal. But for us, the only thing he would be getting out of it is that his DC Universe subscription goes up because he gets all the stuff already. So I was telling him, I go, what if that happens? Do you still buy it? And he says no. He said he'd be out. I have a feeling he might still buy it. But
I think it'd be one of those things, depending what they're throwing on there. And say that's a lot of money. That's
because right now it's $7-8, I think.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, $7.99. So it'd be doubling the price. And for him, not really any reason for him to do it.
Well, like the Disney Plus that's coming out in November. That's exciting for right now, being that's $6, $7, whatever it was, half of what Netflix is.
$7.
But it depends on what all they're going to be putting in there.
Everything, baby. You hear the news coming out?
No, I don't hear
all
anything.
The movies.
That's why I come to the show.
All the Disney animated movies, all the Disney live action movies, any kind of Disney content. So that means all the old TV shows that I used to watch, Tailspin, Chippendale Rescue Rangers, all the
Darkwing Duck,
Marvel stuff, Darkwing Duck, of course. That shirt you're wearing right there reminds me of it, even though that's supposed to be, that's Hellboy, and it's supposed to be Dark Knight Returns homage. I believe in the opening of Darkwing Duck, he does that too. Something similar,
something like that.
But he's based off of Batman.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah, everything should be on there. See, here's the difference between any other kind of streaming service, and we're talking about DC here also, compared to Disney. So Disney starts this thing this fall. I think November is when it starts. $7. They're Disney, so if they want it on something, it's going to be on there. They probably don't have to, push a lot of favors to be like, hey, I want to be on all these platforms. So unlike some things like DC Universe doesn't have a PS4 app right now. It just has an Xbox app, and it's on Amazon Fire, and it has a phone app that you can stream on Chromecast. But Disney, I guarantee, is going to be on everything.
Oh,
right
yeah.
away. There's no way they're not going to be on anything. And they can go $7 because they're Disney. They
own everything.
They're looking to get users, not money, off of this right away. But the thing that they have off of all these people, DC, Warner Brothers, Netflix, everybody, is that when they start, they already have so much content that the $7 justified day one.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wait for anything coming out. You don't have to worry about like, is this show going to be good? Because day one, you already have access to all that catalog. On day one, it's already worth it. And anything comes out after that is just a bonus. Where everything else has to justify your monthly subscription by making new content as Swamp Thing, right? So that's why when they lose out on that money and it becomes too much, they cancel it because they're not getting back enough on their return. Where Disney, I don't think it really matters for them. Like,
sure not.
If they put out that Loki show and it doesn't do well, who cares? People are going to still buy every single month because they got, Beauty and the Beast on there and they want to watch it. Lion King, Simba. You know what I mean? So they're
insane. They've got staples that everyone loves anyway.
DC might put all that money into Swamp Thing, and then it might have not turned out well. Luckily, I heard it did. I haven't really watched it yet. But then they lose subscribers, they lose money. But Disney, I think they got that blanket. Nobody's ever gonna unsubscribe unless it turns out like it's unused, like you can't use it really, or they lied and they didn't put everything on there. Those are only two things that would sink that right away. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
I could see it being not everything is out there right away. I mean, not maybe, the first month, only Darkwing Duck season 1's out. Or, they add an extra cartoon here or there or what have you. But I would imagine it would be flawless when they set it out because they want everyone to get it.
They seem to be, pumping a lot of money into it with the Marvel shows that we have coming out, the Star Wars stuff, and plus all the classic content. And then, B, seem to be planning it more.
Yeah.
Because it's something they've been talking about for a couple of years now. And they announced everything last winter, and they were like, hey, we're launching in a year.
I remember when it was that we had talked about on the show, but I remember even us on the show was talking. It's like, man, this sounds amazing. I'm excited. Like, I think I want to get it. I'd almost drop Netflix just to get it.
And the weird thing is, I think DC Universe, we heard about it last summer, like July, August, and then it came out in October. So, like, they didn't really then plan it that much ahead. And when you look at the comic content that it has, they don't have everything on there. It's like a curated list is what it says. There's a lot on there, but it's like very specific things. Like there's a lot of detective on there. There's a lot of action comics. But if you're really looking for something specific, there's a good chance it's not on there. But if you're just going on there to be like, hey, I want to read, what do they have on here? It's a pretty good amount. But if you're looking for something, maybe not. So I would hope so that Warner Brothers, AT&T and Warner Brothers wanted to make their streaming service just their TV stuff. And maybe that's what's taken away from DC Universe. You dropped on the price a little bit. They just put comics on there and make sure to increase that number. Then maybe, you know what? I'm still in. Because actually, I do right now subscribe to DC Universe because I wanted to watch Swamp Thing and I wanted to watch Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is pretty good.
Did you watch Titans yet? Or
No.
Teen Titans?
No, I haven't watched it yet. Garrett says it's good, but he still has only watched the first episode. So how good is it that you don't want to keep going?
I think a part of me is that when he's telling me about it, it's like, it sounds interesting, but it also doesn't sound like a Teen Titans that I want to be on.
I don't think I've ever seen any kind of clip or anything from Titans that I'm like, that looks good.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol I did, and that's why I got it, and that's why I started watching it. Swamp Thing, I saw the trailer and it looked good, so that's why I kept my subscription to watch that. But when this news came out that it was canceled and they're looking to do the service, I was like, what do I just cancel now? And whenever they figure out what they want to do, then I will get that thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. It's very discouraging. DC, we have these ebb and flows with these two companies, specifically DC and Marvel, now owned by two bigger corporations. But even in the comic world, these two brands seem to fluctuate. I feel like Marvel is in a good place with the comics now coming back. They have a lot of great comics. And DC is kind of like not sure what they want to do right now. They're kind of in a limbo mode, especially with like all the things going to be changing the DC universe.
I think the DC Comics wise is the strongest thing DC has going for it right now. I mean, I haven't seen all the movies. I haven't seen Aquaman or Shazam. But even those two
best ones.
When you guys tell me they're good, it's like, yeah, they're good. But unfortunately, and I realize they're not trying to tie into the other things.
Badass. You didn't see that?
Oh, I didn't see that.
No? You didn't see? No, I can't tell you that. There is one moment in Shazam that will be your favorite moment in any DC movie. Possibly a superhero movie.
Wow.
I'm going to bet money.
Okay.
I'll bet his money. And we'll talk about that later because we're going to try that again. We're going to bet more of his money later. Once the Comics Podcast, as Alex said at the beginning of the show, June 5th, 2019. There'll be some comic books that came out that day. The first book that we'll talk about is Criminal Number 5. That is Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Jacob Phillips on colors there. This is a new storyline about a detective.
PI,
excuse me. Yep, private dick. Going after this lady who keeps ripping people off. She stole a necklace from this one guy, and the guy's like, I want to know where she is, and I want the necklace back. So eventually he finds the necklace in a pawn shop. It kind of looked like a Pixels to me. It was a little very weird kind of look. I thought maybe this lady went to the future somehow, 1980s, got some pixel art, and that's what she did. But I don't know, it just looks strange. But we find out over time that she keeps like kind of bamboozling these older men. She does have sex with them, and then she steals her shit the next morning, as you do. And
she gets blackmailed while she's doing it.
She said that the guy was very abusive to her, and so he took off and took her. She said he's glad. He should be glad the only thing I took was that necklace. And and then the detective's like, "Hey, let me help you out." And then, bam, right, gets knocked out. The last thing we heard is her say Teague, no, or something like that.
Yep,
trying to stop him because I think she realized at that point, not a bad guy. He's trying to help me out here. And Teague was watching the whole time and bap in the back of the head.
Cracked it, or was broke his skull? Cracked his skull?
Yeah. And guess what? This motherfucker don't play around. He's going to go kill that motherfucker with him over the head. And the issue ends with him bringing out a shotgun and being like, Teague shouldn't be a hard name to track down. And I had forgotten until that point that this is the arc where we see what happens to Teague.
Oh, see, I remember that this was the start of the finding out what happened to Teague Lawless, and the whole issue. There's no word of Teague Lawless. There's no nothing. It's literally just this own arc. It's like, oh, okay, maybe they oversold it. Then we get those last 3 pages. Gets his head cracked open, and now I'm gonna go kill him myself. It's this is okay. I can get on board with this. This is very good. The coloring is it's fine, but I did find it a little more distracting than I wanted.
Oh, really? I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, really?
I thought I really didn't notice this issue where usually I notice it just because it's so different from what we're used to in Criminal. I thought this was the first issue where I didn't even, just right now I was thinking about it. I was like, how did the coloring look? And it didn't stand out to me. But then it didn't stand out to me also in a good way. So maybe it was just okay.
I mean, like it wasn't the worst thing I've seen, but it was just one of those. I know this is the difference between this and the original 6 or 7
I'm going
books.
to pull it up here and give it a double look real quick.
You do that so that.
But I remember there's a full page spread of the Private Eye that I thought wasn't bad.
There's a couple big like full pages of just him giving the pros and the background of what's going on, what he's doing, and how he had gotten started. I think the thing that I really enjoy the most with Criminal as a series is the intent of everyone's kind of crooked. Because even this PI, he goes, I should be doing other things. I should have been doing this job doesn't really pay as well. And not that he's stealing from anybody that he's working for, but he kind of betrays the guy that had hired him to go find this girl. And instead of just bringing her in, he kind of has a conversation with her. He's trying to get to know her, wants to actually help her. And get away from these life choices that she's making.
Some pages I can see what you're saying, and some pages look great, coloring wise.
Yeah.
So
there's the one I'm thinking of. She's in the bar. This looks good. Well, it's him and her in the bar, and I think it's the second time that gets to that bar scene, and her hair just seems off colored, or her I don't know if it's the lighting or if I was just being
this page here.
Yeah, with that. The middle one on the right. Her hair
Jacob funky. does a lot of coloring where it's like a lighter color and then also it's a dark color, but there's like a hard line, like it doesn't blend. I think that's just a style, but yeah, I know what you mean. It does look like it's like 2 different colors.
Yeah, I don't know. It threw me off. I mean, not out of the story. This was an amazing issue. I really enjoyed it a lot. There was one gripe I had, and it has only to do with the cover. On the cover of the book is a circle that says New Arc. And it's red. It's not like it was faded in nicely. It really drew my attention. It's like, this makes this cover look tacky.
It's red?
Yeah.
Like I said, I got digital here. Oh, I see what you mean. Like that.
Yeah.
Well. Like, yeah, you know what? They're trying to get eyes in this fucking baby.
I know. I'm being picky. I'm expecting more discreetness and more subtlety. Sometimes you just got to put a big red dot on there so everyone knows. New Arc.
Did you notice that she is wearing a red leather jacket?
Mm-hmm.
They got a song about that.
I was thinking of Sin City, where there's that one scene where it's just her red jacket, kind of like when you watch Schindler's List and do the song.
Do you think I think this PI fell in love with this lady? See how strong she was?
Yeah.
Of taking what's hers and what she wants.
I'd say he was kind of infatuated with her, I think.
Even when he sat there, he's like, fuck, I'm not going to do this job. He goes, I'm just here and I'm going to buy you a drink. We're just going to talk. Greyhound. I like a Greyhound.
I've never had a Greyhound.
Greyhound, that's grapefruit and vodka. Pretty good. It's very bitter.
More importantly, the charm was working on it. Goes, you got the drink right.
You know what? For somebody who is on the defensive, especially when he tells her who he is, the man was charming. Got her on the good side, so much so that when Teague came after him, she was about to stop it, but Teague's a little fast with that gun in the back of the head.
Was it a gun? I thought it was like a pipe.
Might have been a pipe. Who knows? Lawless, whatever.
Someone cracked his skull.
These fuckers will knock you out in 2 seconds. He's probably got a concussion. What did you have? Also a broken jaw?
No, he fractured his skull.
He fractured his skull.
I don't remember if he had a broken jaw.
Yeah, you definitely got a concussion if you fractured your skull. But I mean, that's a minimum you have, because I think concussion comes first, then the fractured skull. I thought this is a great beginning to this arc. If you've been waiting on Criminal for any reason, who knows why, I think is a good place to start. As that red circle tells you at the beginning, new story arc.
New arc.
And it is actually, even though this does reference a character who we've heard a lot about, who's been a lot of Criminal, it's not anything that you have to know. Like, this could be your first story and be like, okay, let me see what's going on. Because these other 2 characters, I don't think we've ever seen before.
Nope. Not that I know of. Now, to be fair, I haven't read all of Criminal, but
The detective, for half a second, I was like, have you seen him before? But I don't think I've seen him before. So, we'll see. But I am very excited. This is a good 9. I'm going to give it a good 9 because of the things you pointed out. Went back and looked, and
You agree? Good.
Yeah, and I was saddened. Maybe I should read. I didn't read the back matter.
I didn't read the back. That's what I leave Garrett
if
for.
If he references the song or not.
I would also agree. This was a 9. A very strong issue, but I did have my few gripes. But this actually makes me a little weary of, do you think that they can nail this story?
Yeah, writing's good.
I mean, I know, but we've built up
Sean Phillips?
this Teague Lawless thing.
Oh, I see what you mean.
No, I think the book, the
he
team
came in like a fucking storm at the end there. That's Teague. Doesn't think, hits.
He doesn't think hits.
That's why he fucking dies. Teague reminds me, so I was watching a little bit of First 48. You know what First 48 stands for?
No.
Within the first 48 hours of a murder are the hottest, and after that it gets cold. That's when the clues are the freshest. So this show's on A&E. And I was watching one where this guy was riding his bike on the street, and he got shot, and they were trying to figure out who shot him. And one of the theories they had was like, because they found out that he was a hothead, and they're like, he probably just yelled at somebody, and some guy popped them off. Pop, pop. And I feel like that's Teague, right? He would get into a fight at a bar, crack his head on the side of a pool table.
I suppose.
Maybe a pool cue to the back of the head.
I guess you're right. It doesn't necessarily have to be this big thing to do. It's like in Captain Marvel where we find out that, spoilers, Nick Fury lost his eye to a cat. Not some badass thing.
Yeah, sometimes life, you turn the corner and...
sometimes it pokes you in the eye.
There's a chupacabra and he tears your throat out. So sometimes it's as simple as that.
Shit.
Alex, what else do we get here?
So I want to get this out of the way right away because, for the record, this was the weakest book of the week. Guardians of the Galaxy Annual #1, written by Al Ewing. More, that's literally what it says on this thing, and Donny Cates. Artist was Yildiray Senar, Ibrahim Mustafa, and more. And Giuseppe Camicoli did the cover. So when we talked about this last week, or at least on the Gauntlet forecast, we had discussed that it was going to be a strong book about Cosmo the space dog. And I was super, super, super excited. And Cosmo's in the first 2 pages.
He's the bumper story. Beginning, and he's the guy that's throughout it.
He's the bookend, yeah.
He's the bookends. I thought every story looked great. All the artists, I would give them props. None of them, I don't think any of the ones look bad. And there's actually a couple unique ones which I really did enjoy.
I like the Adam Warlock story.
Yep. I think that's the one I remember. And the writing also was not bad, but it felt like so much within a short span. I feel like if this was one story, like give it one story, I don't understand why annuals always have to be anthologies.
Yeah.
Just do a big story.
I think the thing is, depending on what universe is doing the book, because it feels like feels like Marvel does do.
That's what I was going to say. Marvel does anthologies. DC usually does a big story.
A big story, or at least a lead into an arc.
They use it for a reason.
Yeah.
The Marvel ones more feel like, they want to charge $5 for an anthology book. Here you go.
Here you go.
Because you could not read this and still be reading Guardians. Like, This is I don't want to say it's a waste because it feels like there's some good stuff here, but it's not interesting. I don't think if you've been reading that book at all.
This really didn't even lead, because there's one part in it that even tells you when Black Silver Surfer pulls somebody out, check it out next week. And so right there we're getting a little bit of a spoiler, is what I'm going to call it, of Silver Surfer pulling somebody out.
Yeah.
Because apparently Silver Surfer is the one who's been pulling everybody out, and all these people are living because of him, which is exciting. But it kind of, I don't know. I was very disappointed with this.
This kind of feels like, I don't know. Al Ewing, I thought his story, I really was looking forward to his story, but I just feel like it was like bloated. The rest of the people, none of it felt bad, but just felt like, what was the point?
So there's what? Cosmo? What was the second one? It was Nova.
Nova, yep.
Nova and his Quasar.
Helmet, yep.
And then that was the Adam Warlock, which I really did enjoy, where Adam Warlock falls from space, falls into a temple, and these fuzzy-looking grimace space aliens think that he's their god. Yeah. He thinks that Cosmo, that Warlock had thrown down this big canister of food, and that's what they were living off of because their planet was going dry and everyone was starving. Well, Warlock tells him, I'm not this god that you think I am, but I will find out who it was or what's going on. So he goes up into space, and finds a big faceless. At first I thought it was like a Chitauri wormy thing, but it wasn't. It was a celestial thing without a face. And Adam Warlock beats it with a stick and rips off its face, throws it to Earth, and tells himself, I will be these space aliens' god. They don't need to know that it was me who had defended them. I don't want them to think I am a god, but I will do what I can to help them. I thought that was very good.
Like I said, none of it is bad. I just feel like...
As a collection, I didn't want it that way.
No, that's what I mean. It's like if any of these were its own story on its own, and I was expecting to read one of these stories, I think it'd be fine. It's just the way the story has been going in the main book is so compelling that to have this now... And once again, it's not like they said you have to read this. We chose to read this. But you would think that... And that's the thing with all... Like you were just saying, Marvel. When... It's like Amazing Spider-Man annual, and you think it might have a little bit to do with the story that's going on currently, and then it's always some random stories.
Well, I think the thing is that I saw Donny Cates on this, and that makes me think,
I was gonna say,
this
especially when the original writer's on it.
Because there's a Deadpool annual coming out I'm not going to get. There's an Amazing Spider-Man annual that's not coming out, or that's coming out that I'm not going to get for the fact
usually
the Spencer's not
Cullen Bunn to write it, and there you go.
I will not. Nope, that's wrong.
I mean, they usually do. I didn't say that.
I
didn't say you would get it. I say usually an annual pops up and they say, "Hey, Colin, I know you're working on those Deadpool kills somebody else, but we got an annual coming up. You think you can do that one?
Can you write that?
Oh, you're still working on that Dark Arc book? Is this not over yet? Oh, okay.
It's not over. I give this a 4.
Yeah, I'll go there too. The art was good though. I like the art.
The art it was fine.
This is an art book. If you like good art, you can get this book with Guardians. I think there's enough here that you can get it. But if you're expecting to have anything with the main story, or I think anything of consequence, this is not it. And like you said, some stories are like find out next week, and you find out the next issue, and you're like, okay, well,
yeah. Well, it even reading this made me go, I don't think I need to get that Silver Surfer Black.
Nah, I think we're good.
Space. If you want to know about space, you have to know about the planets. If you want to know about the planets, you have to listen to me right now. Sun, Mercury, Uranus, water planets, Pluto, and this one they didn't have a name for it yet. It's too far away. You can name it if you want. You can name it Doris after my mom. If you want, it's up to you.
He's part of the Nova Corps, so. That's Dr. Stephen Brill. Thank you, sir. Teach us a little bit about space, and maybe now we enjoy that Guardians book a little bit more. Paper Girls, number 29. This is Brian Givon. This is Cliff Chang. The penultimate issue, we're winding up until number 30, where the cover looks like they're riding off to the sunset. But with this issue here, we've been ramping up with these older or different versions of the girls trying to wipe their minds before they send them back in the past. We learned the old timers just want to keep shit the same because you do it enough times to tape words out, baby. You're going to fuck up time. They said, hey, keep it cool, baby. Don't be fucking up time. So you know what? It turns out to be the old timers weren't really horrible. And well, they did some bad shit, but it was like the young kids were fucking with time so much that they were fucking up the whole thing. And the old timers were like trying to stop them. So we get to the end, and they just want to send the kids back, but they go, we got to wipe your mind first. So there's a little debate in this issue whether or not to wipe their minds because they won't remember that they're friends. They won't, like Mac and KJ.
Yep.
Won't remember that they're in love. But also Mac won't remember that she's dying. She won't know that information. Things like that. But they get shot the gun, which looks like a water gun.
Mm-hmm.
Or
even like the plasma rays from Ghostbusters.
Yes. Mac gets shot and gets sent back, right?
Yep.
And then KJ
KJ, Mac, and Tiffany.
But then
Aaron. I think it's Aaron, right?
I think it was Aaron. Let me double check this real quick.
I'm pretty sure it's Aaron.
Oh yeah, it is because Tiffany drops the Mac, like the
the little square
iMac thing.
Yep.
And Apple TV and Tiffany. No,
and
Aaron.
KJ loses her boots.
She does.
So everything that they acquired during their trips, during their travels, will not come back with them.
And at the end, it looks like Aaron's going to try to do something to stop them from getting wiped. And it says to be continued until to be concluded, excuse me. Oh, we're not in issue 28. Let me get that out of here. 29, to be concluded. And some of the back matter pages are kind of tearing apart here. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't look at them.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Yep, Aaron's the one who picks it up. It was smart. It was right. And don't worry, beautiful. That's another silly old story written by a bunch of dudes, and she shoots at Aaron. Well, the other Aaron.
Yep, the old
alternate
Aaron
version.
The young Aaron.
So we'll see what happens there. You know what? I feel like 30 might be cathartic. Is that the right word?
Cathartic?
Yep. Ending where it's kind of like maybe they do find that they remember everything still and it's okay. Or I just hope it's not like I don't feel like the story needs like a huge ending. It's more of a character kind of ending.
Mm.
But I actually like this issue a lot. I actually read the last 3 back to back. I didn't realize I was behind. And I actually like this last arc leading up to this. It does seem a little like, hey, we got to explain this time travel and what's all going on a little bit too much exposition, but also in a way that's like, this is dumb. Like, you don't have to remember this. Just go.
Yep.
Art's fantastic as always. Cliff Chang, the man. And
I think Cliff Chang art is an art that would, if it's in any book, I think I want to get it. Like if I were just to see a random writer and see Cliff Chang's art, I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to at least get that first issue because his books always look spectacular.
I feel like at the beginning of this Paper Girls and then now, I've always believed, especially after that first arc, and I think it rings true now that we're reaching towards the end, that in trade, this thing's going to sing.
Mm-hmm.
But in issue, it's a little hard to chew. Just because there's so much going on and there was like gaps between issues and stuff.
It's hard to keep tabs on, one, the 4 girls. Not that I can't remember their names, but it is hard to remember after the breaks that we've had and the.
I'll tell you something. Aaron and KJ, I always got mixed up. I don't think until like this last arc I knew who they were.
I always knew who KJ was. KJ always seemed like a badass. Mac thought she was a badass, but KJ really was a badass. And that was the one thing that the either the old timers or the future old girls.
Which is the new girl? KJ?
No, Aaron's the new girl.
Aaron's the new girl. Okay, see, that's what I thought. I thought it was KJ the whole time.
No, so KJ killed somebody. I don't remember who she had killed. Do you?
Some dude.
That's what they told me.
Trying to rustle feathers. Yeah.
But anyway, they're these.
You think Garrett? That's why he's not here.
Future women.
She killed him.
Wow.
He said he was at bingo, but
paradox.
Might not be at bingo. Might be dead.
But the one thing is, these girls tell you, the old, new girls, whatever, future girls say, all these things. You guys are going to forget these things. It's hard to live your life knowing that you've killed someone, and how many lives you've ruined because you killed that one person. And so us sending you back, we're going to be doing you guys a favor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, that's an interesting way to look at it. But then, these girls have come close together and they've become best friends. Their life would be incomplete without having each other, even though they aren't going to go to different realms. They're all going to stay in Stony Brook or Stony Creek or wherever they're from, but they won't be friends. But who's to say that we don't get as big cathartic issue just showing when they came back, the middle section, and at the end, they still do find each other to be friends. I'm excited for issue 30.
It's going to end like some kind of wonderful at the end. The two of them are going to realize they belong together, and right after this.
Dylan.
This is good. Strong 8. I'll give it. I like the way it's going. We'll see how the end goes, but this series has been. This has been my feeling towards this whole series. I think it's great. I don't know if it's ever been for me. No, I mean that in a way where like I read these back pages and I see how much people love this book, and I can recognize that Cliff Chang and Brian K. Vaughan are doing a good job here.
Yeah.
But I've never felt like if this book got canceled, I would be like very sad about it. I would be like, oh, that was a good book, and it's bad that it's gone. But I wouldn't be like, fuck, I really love that book. Like if Saga got canceled, I would feel horrible.
Yes.
Like right now, I feel horrible. The thing's been on a break for how long?
6 months now.
But that's like a book for me because they're older, I think, and I kind of relate with them more. I feel like this is more for like the people that are in high school, maybe middle school, and are worried about growing up.
Yeah.
I think it's more for that crowd. And if you read the back and see what the fans are saying, that's more the kind of letters that they get. And that's not putting on the book at all. I think it's a good piece of work, but also I feel like I'm not part of the demographic that it's trying to reach. I can recognize it's good.
But I you know what? I think you put it into words on how I actually see myself feeling is that I enjoy. I wouldn't care. I'm excited for this book to be done because I don't know how to get it anymore. And as much as I've read it, I understand bits and pieces. I've never felt like this really had stakes for me. And maybe that's part of it for me when I read Saga. Like Marvin said, all there is in that book is stakes. I've grown to love these characters. Okay, I've seen about 7 different versions of all these girls. One of them's got to survive. So, I'd agree. This is an 8. Art was strong. Story it's there.
Yeah.
But maybe you're right. Maybe this isn't a book that was
I feel
for
like
us.
when my son's like in middle school, high school, I might get this to him and he could read it and be like, oh yeah. Like that's kind of age he needs to be in order to realize the themes that this is trying to portray, the themes of like old timers and young people and trying to they see the old timers as the enemies because they're trying to tell them what to do and they think that they have their own path, and then slowly realizing there's some things outside of their grasp that they maybe not understand and they might have messed with, and that's why. But at the end, realizing that having those experiences is not a bad thing, because at the end here they said that they feel like they're stronger people because of it, which is true. Because he said, oh, we want to wipe this from you. It's part of your benefit that we wipe this. That way you don't have to remember any of this. And Tiffany, I think it was like, this has been the best week of my life.
Yeah.
So I do think it's good. Here's the way that I recognize that maybe it's not for me. If they announced that Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang were doing Paper Girls 2, I'd be like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to get it. I mean, I'll read it eventually, but if they say Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang are doing a book about, like Greek mythology, I'm all in, baby.
Holy shit!
Those two
amazing.
creators, I think, are fantastic. The work that they've done is fantastic, but maybe it's not for me.
To be fair, if Paper Girls 2 comes out, I'm going to get it. So,
I'd be curious what it's about
yeah.
after we see this issue 30, but
it'd be fun to see kind of like what happened with Descender and Ascender, that after Paper Girls 1, if they were to come back, that is a whole different kind of storyline with the same girls maybe, but doing different things, kind of like a Stranger Things type of story.
I want to see a book about those pterodactyls.
I would love to go see when they picked them up.
Yeah. And then they eventually start talking.
Of course.
Yeah. Terry and
Dactyl.
Oh, what else we got?
We got Green Lantern #9, written by Grant Morrison, art by, I gotta think of his name, Liam Sharp. I want to make sure it is #9. No, I was wrong. It is #8. Excuse me. Space Junkies, #8.
It is #8, Space Junkies. So we have Green Lantern and Green Arrow teaming up. It's a couple old partners getting back together to get back in the case. They find out that these aliens are smuggling drugs. And a former partner of Green Arrow,
Zine
Arrow, is in their captivity because his belt broke and he too much gravity. And they need to help him out. But then the Zine Green Lantern shows up and he solves everything. Reading this book, if that seems confusing.
Wait. There's a Zine Green Lantern?
You didn't see him at the end? He showed up to help his partner.
Holy shit.
And then they were like, hey, I think we were in a Zine Lantern and Zine Arrow story all along. Like, they thought they were the stars of the story, but then it was actually those two, they said.
Okay, I need to reread this issue again because I had missed that Zine Lantern showing up.
Yeah.
Because he looked like Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
He was taller. A little bit taller. Kind of look like that alien in Men in Black that Tommy Lee Jones gives flowers to.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, this book was still weird.
But yeah, I was going to say...
I still felt high the whole time reading it.
I feel like all the way up to this issue Grant has been like sprinkling his weirdness a little bit throughout the story, and then in this one he spilled that sugar baby all over it. It was like full in. He was like, "Let me just can I just write a fucking story where, it's." I feel like I was on drugs, baby. You know what? And especially when the Green Arrow says to Hal, he goes, "Are you high?" And he goes, "Most definitely, I'm high." I just started laughing. Actually, in terms of being quirky, weird, and like being like an absurd story, I thought this was fantastic. Like the Silver Age kind of just craziness that comics can be.
Yeah.
That a fucking huge Green Arrow and Green Lantern are part of an alternate universe, and they get captured by these space junkies, and these two show up. And what's Green Arrow doing there anyways? He even mentions being like, "What am I going to do against these guys?" And the Green Arrow actually has a big green arrow, and there's a sniper on the moon that's going to try to shoot them, and they shoot him with the arrow beforehand, and then Hal punches them off the moon. Like, it sounds fucking crazy. But in a weird way, art's fantastic. Liam Sharp, I think, actually has been surprised me in doing fantastic work on this, because his Wonder Woman work I thought was great, but it was like too realistic, where I don't think he does a super great job. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It looks more generic in that Wonder Woman style. But in Green Lantern, I feel like it's unique. I feel like what he's been doing is fantastic. I kind of feel bad. I don't know, you probably don't know about this, but Grant said that after this and Wonder Woman Earth 1, is that what it's called? Number 2, that he's going to be done with superheroes for a second.
Really?
He didn't say anything about being done with comics. He just said superheroes. I was kind of hoping they would do like a season 2 of this Green Lantern thing, because even though each issue, like we were talking about, the last issue was fantastic, it does seem like every time I open it, I don't know what to expect.
How long is this book supposed to be going? Just 12 months?
I think it's 12, yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's always been like a limited thing, so might be 12. I don't know. He said he's treating it like a season of TV.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. Could be 24. Who knows?
This is good in a weird sense, and I guess I hadn't seen the fun. This is one of those hard ones for me to read. Then, like for me, this didn't feel like a book for me personally. On the everything was weird, and I did enjoy the sniper on the moon, getting an arrow shot back at him onto the moon. Like there's things that were fun, but it was in a weird status that I wasn't anticipating.
See, he's speaking a different language.
Oh.
This guy appears regular. See how tall this bullet guy is?
Oh, okay.
He saves him.
I thought that, okay. See, I really did think I was just high reading this book then.
The end we get Sinestro being not like the Sinestro that we're used to nowadays, more like a used car salesman. he talks like and he acts like, so I'm curious to see that kind of Sinestro in the next issue. It looks like. You know what though? I'd rather have something like this where it tries to do something weird and the art looks great than read something that's generic and boring.
True.
So
it's fun to see DC letting him do his own thing.
This feels like a book that you could go back and like chew on a little bit, and you probably would notice things you didn't notice before. I feel like that's all Grant Morrison.
Be like me.
I feel like that's all Grant Morrison. I think I like All-Star Superman. I read a bunch of times. Every time I go back, I'm like, I didn't get that the first time. So I think it's good. It's good. Nice 8 for me.
I'm going to give it a 7. There's things. I mean, the art was fantastic. I think Liam Sharp really has found a nice niche for him. His coloring is spectacular.
It's a nice little treat, I think. It's kind of like an edible.
But in issue 7 was the best.
I don't know. You get your steak, and then afterwards you get that after dinner mint
cheesecake.
And guess what? It's fucking laced. And I went to worlds I didn't know existed. So, did I ever tell you? You should watch, and I don't know if it's out there anymore for the listeners out here. There's a Grant Morrison documentary that was on Hulu for a while. It might be on YouTube. Just search Grant Morrison documentary and watch it. It's fascinating to hear this guy talk about not just his creative process, but how he became like very creative. He tells a story one time about meeting this silver orb when he was high, and it's fantastic.
Sounds like a 80 Christmas ornament.
All right, here we go. Next book here. It's called Batman number 72. This is Tom King, Mikhail Hanin, and Jorge Flores, and Jordi Belair on colors. This is part 3 of The Fall and the Fallen. Alex, what do we think? Batman 72, we're ramping up on Tom King's run. This seems to be like the... this is leading to, I think, Bane World is what they're calling it, the final arc. What do you think?
This issue looked amazing. Like all artists included was amazing. I love seeing Hanin has that more realistic version of everybody. You get to see this nice team up of all the villains. But when we're seeing the skinny Batman, is that which one's the current timeline? Because the Hanin, I assumed, is just kind of giving you the rundown.
Yeah, Hanin is kind of a flashback into the other ones currently.
So we're
fighting Bane.
Right now we're fighting Bane.
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing that I have a problem with is how many times can a bat be broken?
He made him happy this time. Did you? I'm not defending. I'm just saying that was the difference they said this time.
Is that he made Batman happy by breaking his bat?
Well, he made him happy by allowing Catwoman to love him, not getting involved.
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
okay, yes,
And then he broke him.
I understand that.
I liked when Bane grabbed his cape and swung him right into that fucking bookcase, took out a chunk of it. Bane beat the shit out of him this issue. I mean, Batman got a few good ones in, especially when he thought he knocked him on the ground and Bane's like just playing dead. Bruce should have known. Fucking tapped twice. This guy.
I think that's. I really want to really enjoy this.
I don't
book.
get it. To be frank, like his dad being like at the end being like, if we're gonna go after my son, count me in. Like the whole narration is Thomas.
Yep.
I don't get why. Didn't he love that his son showed up? He was like, son. He was like so happy. And yes, I know Bruce left him in that world to die, but I think that was Thomas's decision to stay there, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
The way I understood it was Thomas told him, "You need to get out of here."
So I don't understand why all of a sudden he's against him. Like,
Maybe that time travel is weird. Maybe that position traveling is weird. Maybe he's mad at this Bruce for surviving, where he wishes that his son was dead. That's the only life he's known now is his son is dead. That's what gives him the right to do what he's doing.
So he's mad at this Bruce for becoming Batman and risking his life when his son actually died in that alley. So he's going to kill himself.
He's got to punish him himself.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds
nice little
stupid circle.
Catch 22. You know,
You're supposed to be dead.
I don't like that you risk your fucking life. My son died in that alley, so I'm going to teach you shouldn't be risking your life by killing you and ending that. Or he might be doing a double cross.
Maybe, but he's doing a good job proving to Bane.
I was going to say.
I literally am just watching you beat the shit out of my son.
Because he got into that Wayne Manor by faking it and bringing Bane in, making Alfred get them fucking steaks.
Yep.
I can't tell you, Bruce. They got me under the gun.
This book looks great. I don't know what has happened.
I wish we wouldn't have got the Nightmare Run. I wish we wouldn't have got those what turned out to be useless tie-ins to Heroes in Crisis.
I didn't even read those.
Because I feel like that gap in time has not only stopped the momentum of this book, which we thought was fantastic, but has muddied it so much that it feels now like it's rushing and I can't figure out what it's trying to tell me anymore.
I'd agree. I'd very much agree. This is one of those books that all Garrett and I could say at the beginning was this was garbage. We finally got sucked into this book being an amazing title. Even issue 50, where I know Garrett's a little sullied.
Yeah, I
on.
like 50. I thought 50
I still enjoyed 50.
And especially right afterwards. Was fantastic. Remember the crime?
Yep. And I loved that, was that Frozen Heart or whatever? Yeah, that 3-issue arc. Amazing. There's been amazing things that have come out of this book. And then you got this 12 issues of garbage. Either it's a crossover or it's these nightmares, which some of the issues did look great. And I know number, 70?
I did like the Looney Tunes
67?
one.
Yeah, the Looney Tunes one.
I think it's the last time actually we had a show with just me and you. He wasn't here.
And it was great. Not the show, but the book was great. This is just, I want more from this book. And I think my problem is that, like you said, we're going to rush to the end. So what, done at issue 85?
Can I? Yeah. Yes, we got 13 issues.
Yeah.
Which would be half a year. Because we're going to double ship until it's over, which I think is at the end of the year. So,
yep.
Something I find, at least in this issue, I feel like sometimes, and it's not a lot, but I feel like sometimes Tom King tries to do unique storytelling in a way that actually ruins the story in a way. So in this one, we have the ongoing narration, and it's like, I don't know who this is, it's trying to make you think who it is.
I know it's a Batman. That's the only thing I knew.
And then you have the dual timelines, him getting beat up by Bane, and then all the flashbacks to the storylines. And I feel like he sets it up that way because that's the way he wants to tell his story. But I feel like that if he just had the narration and him and Bane fighting, I think it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't need the flashbacks.
This is the thing, is that it felt like filler, where I need to remind you guys what you've read, what you've invested into this. I already knew what I
did see Tom King on Twitter actually made that point. He was like, anybody can jump on right here because it's going to tell you what's going on. I was like, well, I would have had 12 issues of nothing going on. I don't need a recap. So, I mean, I understand people are reading all the time, but you know what? Go back and read, a few issues. Like, who's jumping in 72?
Yeah.
I think maybe, but also that might have been them being like, hey, Batman got outsold that month. We got to do something to get people back on this book.
You know what you do by that? Let there be a great fist fight between Bane and Batman.
You know how you deal with that? DC just needs to put a recap page and get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like recap pages, then they'll put them in. Dendidio hates recap pages. Just put it in. A good recap will solve all this bullshit of having to exposition of previously on. Like, I don't need all that.
I think that's the part of me, though, like we'd see in issue 8 of Heroes in Crisis. That, I love Tom King. I think he's an amazing writer. But that almost feels like that's his crutch. When he gets into a big, long story that he needs to tell, or getting to that point where you're almost to the climax, you're almost to that excitement that you're waiting to see. By the way, here's a little step back, remind you of what you've been reading, how much you've invested. And then when you finally get to that final fight, you're like, okay, well, that was a whole issue that could have been dedicated to something other than reminding me what I already know. Yeah,
like you said, I like Tom King. Mr. Miracle and his Vision run, I think, are two of my favorite things I've ever read. The Vision, hey, he made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we made it on there, and I actually almost cried on there that time, so go back and listen to that episode. But I feel like he might have done better in this Batman run if it ended sooner. Mm-hmm. Or, because I think by just extending the length to the original 100 issue that he wanted to do, and then all these things popped up, like he's going to be writing for New Gods. He had to take a break to do something. I believe actually that's what he was doing, because he said it was something TV movie related. He needed to take a break. That's why they had the crossover. So I don't know. You know what? His DC contract's might be up soon. I believe it is. After this Batman thing, it's up. So he'll have a chance for DC to offer him a new contract or do something else. I would like to see him to go back to Marvel and try something new. Maybe Superman if he sticks around. But other than that, I like to see him go back, and we might get Tom King's Captain America or something like that. But we'll see. Unfortunately, I had to give this a 5.
Really?
I didn't really like it.
I was gonna give it a 6, but
I don't understand what the fuck's going on. Like, I don't understand Thomas. His son died. He's happy to see him in that Button storyline. Maybe I just remember the Button. I thought he left, and he's like, "No,
I'm not
gonna leave." And Bruce is like, "Come on!" And I'm gonna go back and reread that part.
That was 50 issues ago. Thomas is an old man.
Why wasn't there a flashback to that? Because that would have been helpful if I could figure out what was going on there and why Thomas hates him. Like, Thomas could have said it. He could have said, "Hey, I hate him. This fucker left me to die in that cave."
Even though I told him to.
I'm pretty sure he said go.
I wasn't expecting him to listen.
I thought he did. I thought he said, "Hey, go. I'm just happy knowing you're alive."
But now, for the record, who wrote? Maybe it was Joshua Williamson who'd written that Batman first Button part, where Bruce is getting the shit kicked out of him by Zoom.
Yeah.
That's a great issue. That's spectacular. But I think it's a Joshua Williamson issue that time. Anyway, I'm waiting for the Batman to be amazing again. And as of right now, I don't feel like I'm getting the best that I could get.
What else you get?
You know what it was? By the way, probably the pick of my week, at least for these 6 books that we had, was Shazam #6, written by Jeff Johns, art by Marco Santucci, and Scott Collins on the cover art. Nope. Also artist. Sorry. Scott's on the book. Anyway, we are.
I think this book's really fun, and I don't say that in a way that like it's disposable. And I think I used to say that about Terrifics, where it was like, this is a fun book, but I feel like this one here, there's a little bit more to it than Terrifics. Like, I actually feel invested in the characters, and I think it's a good book. The art, I think, is fantastic. It really fits that style, and I don't know. I just really like it. It might be Jeff Johns.
I think maybe a part of it's that for me is that I haven't read a lot of Shazam. I think the only thing I've really read of him was the New 52 stuff, and that was all back matter for Justice League, and the Kingdom Come. I haven't read the Jeff Smith.
Yeah, Jeff Smith.
Is it Jeff Smith?
Yeah,
I haven't read that yet. The guys that got me for Christmas.
How many parts of the button were there? 4?
4. There's 2 Flash and 2 Batman. But I think this is one of those things that it really gives me a character to start to really enjoy. It's kind of like when you see a new movie with Captain Marvel or Doctor Strange, you're like, oh man, I really want to see this character in more than what I know him from. Anyway, so in this book you get Mary and Billy actually are rushing off to go help their brothers and sisters, and boom, they get sucked over into back to the real world. They're unsuper right now, and they're upstairs in their foster parents' house. And Billy's like, we gotta go help everybody. Mary's like, well, we can't super up. We can't Shazam out and do anything. We can't give ourselves away like that. And Billy's like, well, we gotta go. And so Billy actually wanders downstairs trying to get back out so they can go super. And downstairs actually is Billy's dad. And Billy and his dad kind of have a nice little moment there of going, where have you been? I've missed you. Your mom and you are the most important things in my life.
Something seems shady there.
Yes. I did some bad things. I'm a bad guy. Like right there, that's the shady part. You're not a good guy. But every time I saw his dad, all I could think about was Superman or Bruce. For some reason, like this guy looks well taken care of.
He does look exactly like Billy when Billy Shazam.
Yep.
So I thought maybe for a second I was like, is he not real? Is he maybe just like a clone of Shazam? He's the bad Shazam.
He's the bad anti-Shazam. But to be fair, we've seen the bad Shazam. Wait, is there a bad Shazam? I assume Black Adam was bad Shazam.
No, he's the anti-hero Shazam.
Oh, I see. Well, we see Black Adam fighting Savannah and lose to Savannah. What's the brain worms thing? What's up with that? What's with the worm? Does he live in...
it's a bad guy.
The worm is also a separate bad guy? Or is that part of Savannah?
No, he's a separate bad guy.
Okay.
What was his name?
Mr. Mind?
Mr. Mind. Yeah, he's a different bad guy. Actually, spoilers, can't tell you. You gotta go see that Shazam movie. I'm not gonna say he's in it, but he might be.
Which could be.
Something about this book that feels, and I think that's just Jeff Johns. It feels entrenched into history, but also doing something new, and I think that's where Johns is strongest. Like I said, the art's a nice kind of throwback to that style, but I think reading this, it feels like, oh, this might be new, but also I feel like there's a lot of history here. And I think that's what makes the book so enjoyable to read, is that I know I'm reading something on its own is great. Like this issue I thought was great, but in terms of the whole Shazam lore, I feel like it's building on it and respecting it. So
I think part of me is that Jeff Johns is the best writer for this book. A man who knows so much about DC in the past and really does stick true to the history of these characters. And like you said, puts them in a new light. Lets you enjoy them for what they are now, but doesn't let you forget what they had been.
Yeah, nice little fun book. This one here, I think, might have been my second or third favorite book this week. I'm going to give it a 9. Nice 9.
I agree, 9. Very strong. Very good.
Very strong. I pull up the end of the button here. Not the end. Issue 3 is where Thomas perishes.
What?
Where he says, Bruce says to Thomas, "You're a grandfather. I have a son." And then Flash, Barry, says, "Batman, the treadmill is at full power without me running on it. It's going to leave with or without us. And then Bruce says to Thomas, "Come with me, Father, please." And Thomas turns around and pushes him towards Barry and says, "Go." Big go. Capital.
Whoa.
And exclamation point.
He doesn't go
Flash, you
now.
promised me that you saved my son. Now do it. And then Bruce says, "Let me go, Barry. Dr. William, please come with us. You were my world's son. I delivered you myself. And the moment I saw you, I knew every choice I had ever made had been the right ones because they led to you. You're the greatest gift that this life have gave me. There's more I should have shared in that letter, so listen to me. Don't be Batman. Find happiness, please. You don't have to do this. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for your mother. Be a father for your son in a way I never could be for you. Let the Batman die with me." And then Bruce says, "We can save you." And then they disappear, and then Thomas says, "You have." And it ends.
Of course, that's why he's coming back.
And then he
You
says-
didn't listen to him.
"You motherfucker." I said, "Don't be Batman. Now I'm going to teach you what happens when you're Batman." Now he's in fucking rage father mode.
I'm gonna teach you what it means when you're back.
I don't understand why he's against Bruce. He has to be double crossing, right?
I don't know. I think
He
that,
just I'm not crazy. He just showed up in Batman. Like they didn't explain it at all.
no, he's just there.
He's just there.
He's just part of the group that Bane had put
He's
together.
not like a clone or anything like that. They never explained it. He's just there, and we're to expect it's the same character. And because it was part of the Batman storyline, like why did they have that story if he's not going to come back? And now he wants to kill Bruce or help destroy Bruce's life. When right there he was like, try to save his life. He goes, "Barry, you told me you would save my son's life." And he goes, and then he leaves and he comes back. He goes, "Motherfucker, you're still Batman?" I'm going to show you.
You know what? This is what Heroes and Quests should have been. It should have been Thomas coming back.
He watched his
Killing
son
people.
get fucking cape slapped into a bookcase, back broken, disrespected because now the butler's working for them. He was standing there
No.
when Bane was eating that steak in front of him, and Alfred just stood by, and he didn't say anything.
Now, the crazy thing will be, what if Bruce is actually Thomas Wayne?
And Thomas is going to beat the shit out of him. And Bruce is like, "You motherfucker, this is what happened. Well, you're already dead anyways. Like, I thought you were dead, so die again." No, it's going to turn out that actually Bruce is in an Alfred costume, and it's Alfred, and Alfred's in the Batman costume. Does he still missing his hand? Oh, he got that
No,
back.
we got that back. We got him a new metal or a robotic.
But does he still have it? They just forget about that.
No, they got retconned in something or another. I don't remember how he got his hand back.
Oh,
but
he just grew back, probably. He's like a reptile.
yep, he got
Good
that.
old Lizzie Alf.
Yep.
Mr. Wayne. Food ready.
I am actually so excited to see which part of Thomas is real. If he's coming to beat the shit out of Bruce, if it really is Bruce, what's going on? This is
You know what? It's probably Damien and Jonathan on top of each other's shoulders inside a Batman costume, and then he pops out. And he goes, "Gotcha."
surprise, grandfather.
Where are the Robins at? Has that been established?
Well, so we don't remember where they
Where are
were.
They were hung at one point.
They were they're at 71. They're in issue 71, all on top of the building, trying to
yeah.
take that picture. And no one's teaming up with Bruce to go fight. So that's what's weird.
First off, he's getting his ass beat in the manor where they all should be.
Mhm.
Like, is there multiple Batcaves? I don't think so. Don't they all work out of that shit?
I would assume they
Nightwing,
don't
I
stay
guess.
there.
Damon, at least. At the very least, his ass should be in that basement. Unless he's off out and about with Jonathan. You don't know. Well, actually, Jonathan's older now, so he probably doesn't hang out with him anymore. See, this is what happens when you're on too many teams.
Yep.
They're not at a home when a fucking madman breaks in. It tries to bitch slap your father around, take over your Alfred, and eat at the table.
Probably elbows on the table, even.
Why do you need that big of a table, by the way? Do you see that mirror on that table?
Mhm.
It's
Huge.
it's like 20 feet between them. Can you have a conversation? You're going to sit next to him anyways. Would you ever sit at the end of the table?
How would you pass the pepper? You just have to have your butler.
That's why Alfred's there. I was going to say, that's why he's sitting there. He's waiting for them to be like, "Alfred, is the salt down there?" "Yes, sir. Down here." Now he
Takes his binoculars to look.
pass
Yep.
it over here, and he goes, "Oh," and he walks down. And he goes, "You know what? Actually, second that, good enough. I don't need salt." Do you think he gets paid, Alfred?
Yeah, because in the animated series, when Alfred has gone crazy, he's breaking things, and Bruce goes, "Oh, don't worry, Alfred. I'll just take it out of your salary."
But what does he do? Like
Yes, sir.
he eats and lives there. What does he need money for?
True. He doesn't need room or board, but he still has to buy things. But I'm sure Bruce would just give him money.
He gives him a stipend.
So
He goes, "Hey, here's $20. Go out on the town."
go out of the town. Enjoy yourself.
I guess he has to pay him, otherwise he'd be a slave. He can't be a slave if Batman have slaves. Alfred, old white man, little mustache. He's not even American.
Nope.
He's a British man.
English.
So that also would be not look good on his visa. He needs a job. So those are the comics for this week. If you want to hear more about Alfred, go to WednesdayComics.com. But otherwise, that's Batman number 72. That's Green Lantern number 8. That is Criminal number 5. Guardians of the Galaxy Annual number 1. Paper Girls number 29.
Yep.
And
Shazam number 6.
Shazam number 6. You missing one?
No.
Nope, that was it. The comics for this week, be sure to go pick them up where you pick up your comics or online anytime. But like again, I said, I'm not your Alfred. I don't get it for you. You figure it out yourself. You be your own self-sufficient Superman. Unlike, that is weird. Clark Kent probably has money. He works at the dude's I've never seen him be poor.
That's true.
But yet, he doesn't get a butler. That's weird, though, because Alfred raised Bruce, right?
Yes.
He raised him as a son because his parents died, but he still treats him like the butler. You know what I mean? He still makes his dinner. He still sits there and gives him the salt from the other side of the table. Yeah,
but then I also see it as, I'm sure that Alfred told Bruce going, okay, Master Bruce, calls him Master Bruce. I mean, it's still, that's his boss. Even though, yes, you did raise him as a child. And that's the one thing that we had seen in Last Night on Earth is that he doesn't want to see his son. I mean, it's one of those weird... No,
I'm saying Alfred, his relationship with Bruce is fine.
Yeah.
But Bruce to Alfred, he still treats him like the butler.
I suppose you're right. He does expect his house.
Remember that Swamp Thing issue where he made him clean up the leaves?
That's right. You're right. It's true.
He'd be like, "Hey, Alfred, no, I'll get it later. It's cool. I invited this guy over." He was like, "Alfred, what the fuck are we going to be sitting here with leaves in the ground? Do you think we're fucking animals? What'd I pay you for?" Remember, I cannot pay you. And you're asked to get shit back to England. So let's do this. Welcome. This is Alex and Marvin doing a little podcast by ourselves because, like once I said again, Garrett is off playing that bingo. But the great thing is, Alex, I want to let you know about this right now while I put this little bit of music on there.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to what we call the Garrett's $1 billion giveaway. I'm going to ask you some questions here. And if you answer them all correctly, Garrett Walls has promised, he signed a piece of paper to be in debt to you for $1 billion. You might not get it, but he will be in debt for you until he can pay it off. That's what he said. That's what he told me.
Wow. I for everyone who isn't watching the video, my mouth was wide open, agape, in surprise that Garrett was going to be so generous and at least work off $1 billion worth of stuff.
Yeah. So it could be in money or it could be in goods. Could be in services. You decide. He could be the Alfred to your Batman. You figure that out. But here we go. We have.
Could you have a butler?
Yeah. What do you mean?
I don't think. I couldn't have one of my friends be a butler.
That's what I'm saying. The dude's like his father, and he's telling him to get tea.
It just seems too tough. It seems rude.
I think I could have somebody around the house that would help me. I don't think I would make them dress up like Bruce makes Alfred dress up like you were in the suit.
Yeah.
Put on some jogging pants.
Look comfortable.
All right, here's the first question. What super team includes a sentient tree-like creature? Is it Supreme Squadron, Guardians of the Galaxy, Doom Patrol, or Suicide Squad?
I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy says. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Garrett said to make sure I asked you final because he wants no bullshit.
Yep, I get that.
All right, here's Guardians. Groot originally appeared as an invader that intended to capture humans for experimentation, but was later introduced as a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, correct? What superhero gained his powers after being exposed to the Orb of Ra? Is that Metamorpho? Is that Hawkman? Is that Doctor Strange, or is that Iron Fist? The Orb of Ra, the sun god.
Mm-hmm. I think. What about Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange, Iron Fist, Hawkman, or Metamorpho.
Jeez. I think I'm going to go with Metamorpho.
You said Hawkman?
Oh, I said Metamorpho. But, if it's you know what? You're right. Hawkman sounds more right. Hawkman.
Yeah, let's try that out. It is Metamorpho. You're right. I was wrong. So, you know what? We're going to give you a freebie later on because I fucked it up for you. When billionaire Simon Stagg...
Wait, do you not know the answer to these beforehand?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I'm playing a little. This is a little thing I found. So I like the sound, so we were going with it. There you go. You were right, Metamorpho. I was wrong. So Garrett... hold on. Getting a call from Garrett here. All right. He says he's going to give you an additional $50,000 for that inconvenience.
$1,050,000.
The $50,000 he will give to you in a cold hard cash. And he said he will get to you by the end of the year. So
I like it.
T'Challa is the king of Wakanda, but he's also known as what superhero? Submariner, Khazar, Iron Fist, or Black Panther?
Black Panther. Final answer.
This man has got it. Coming from a long, proud line of warriors kings, T'Challa, king of Wakanda, champions the cause of his people, both as their rulers and as a sleek superhero, known as the Black Panther. What buildings serve as the original headquarters for the Fantastic Four? Is it Titan's Tower, Stark Tower, Baxter Building, or Four Freedoms Plaza?
Baxter Building. Final answer.
There you go. Baxter Building's a fictitious 35-story Manhattan office building that serves as the Fantastic Four's original headquarters. The landlord, Walter Collins, was initially eager to rent his superhero team for the publicity and prestige, but soon regretted his decision as the building became a constant target for super big villains, beginning with Fantastic Four number 6, in which Dr. Doom launched the entire building into outer space. By the way, I saw this doctor. I've thrown away some trash, some old mail, and we had this thing from the local hospital that had doctors on the back of it, and one doctor's name is Dr. Doom.
Oh, really?
But she got married, so it was hyphen something else. But she kept the Doom, which I thought was fantastic. Like, she used to be Dr. Doom, and then she got married, and it was like something generic like Johnson. She's like, no, I'm Doom Johnson, you fuck. Oh, God, it was so good. I saw it. I was like, holy shit, they got a Dr. Doom? Now I just got to figure out how I can fuck up my heart so I can go see her. So that way I can get something that says Dr. Doom.
Just punch you in the chest.
Who is Scar? That's Skaar.
Oh. Oof.
So the son of Hulk. Is it the son of Tarzan, the son of Wolverine, or the son of Thor?
I know it's not Wolverine.
It's the son of Hulk.
Hulk.
Son of Tarzan.
Wolverine.
Thor or Wolverine?
SC or SK?
Skaar.
I'm going to go with son of Tarzan.
Son of Tarzan. Hold on a second. Garrett said he's going to let you use his 50-50. He's going to take away 2 of the wrong answers.
I approve that message.
He is going to take away the son of Tarzan and son of Thor. So now it's either Hulk or Wolverine.
Let's go with Hulk.
Okay.
Son of Hulk.
Correct. There you go. Scar, the son of Hulk, who was conceived during Hulk's time on Skazar. So when he was Planet Hulk.
Was it Planet Hulk? Okay.
Yeah. He fucked somebody.
Of course.
Kid came out.
Kid came out.
Which of the following heroes was not a member of the magically powered Sentinels of Magic? Is it Doctor Strange, Raven, Satana, or Dr. Fate?
Well, the only one that makes sense as not part of it is Doctor Strange.
We'll see. Yeah, Doctor Strange is a Marvel hero. So. Well, we got a couple more here, 3 more. But before we get to that final one, let's hear. Hold on a second here. Before we get to that one, let's go to commercial quick. Have you ever wanted to see the Caribbean, but you're kind of low on cash? Well, go to GarrettWalls.com and he will pay you to see the Caribbean. No more waiting around in the colds. Free money, free vacation, freedom. That is Garrett Walls of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He is giving away free Caribbean trips. You can find him at Garrett2188 on Twitter. Just send him a DM with your name, address, and a self-stamped envelope, and he will mail you back 2 tickets to the Caribbean and $100,000 of spending cash. Garrett Walls. Do not build a wall around your freedom. And we're back, guys. We're back to the show. There we go. Well, there we go, Alex. Here we go. We're going to finish this show up here. Hey, I was sitting in the back during that commercial break.
Yeah.
And I heard the commercial. I think I'm going to go with the Caribbean.
I already have my envelope stamped.
All right, here we go. A question ramping up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 questions left before Alex wins $1 billion of that Garrett Walls money. Which Green Lantern came first? Is it Guy Gardner, John Stewart, Alan Scott, or Hal Jordan?
Is that chronologically in like comic book world? I'm going to go with Alan Scott.
Alan Scott, all right.
Alan Scott, final answer.
Alan Scott originally appeared in All American Comics number 16. That's July 1940. Published by All American Publications, one of the 3 companies that would eventually merge to form DC Comics. Green Lantern's real name was Alan Scott, a railroad engineer who, after a railroad crash, came into possession of a magic lantern, which spoke to him and said it would bring him power. There we go. Ramping up here towards the end. Who is the Scarlet Witch's twin brother?
Quicksilver.
I get away to the
Sorry.
Magneto.
Yes.
Quicksilver.
Yes.
Doctor Strange
Yes.
or Wonder Man.
I am going to go with Quicksilver. Final answer.
Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, and her brother, Pedro Maximoff, the children of Magneto, were born without their father's knowledge in the mountains of Eastern Europe. Once manipulated by Magneto into serving the cause of terrorism, they now dedicate their lives to fighting crime. Here is the penultimate question, and then after this, we'll go to commercial break, and we'll come back for the final answer, where we determine whether or not Alex wins $1 billion of Garrett's cold hard cash, or services, or goods. But you already got $50,000 of that cold hard cash coming your way. What are you gonna do with that money? You buy some donuts?
How probably donuts? I will probably buy a TMNT first print, first edition.
You use that money to go to the Caribbean?
No,
you just go to the website, you get it for free.
Yeah, I'll have someone else pay for that.
Garrett2188 on Twitter.
That's what I would do. Stamp it.
Which character teamed up with a different hero in almost every issue of The Brave and the Bold? Is it Spider-Man, Batman, Captain America, or Superman?
Okay, the one. I'm going to go with Batman.
Batman, he says that is his final answer. Like I said, this is the penultimate issue. We don't know what is going to go on here. So here we go. Let's figure out what is going on here. Although The Brave and the Bold started out as an anthology series featuring characters such as Robin Hood and the Viking Prince, beginning with issue 59, it became a team-up title featuring Batman and a different hero each month. Well, Alex, we are one question away from that sweet, sweet music. What do you think so far? Do you think you're going to win?
Oh, I think I've got a good possibility of winning. We'll see. You never know. Commercial break could freak me out.
All right, we'll see you here in a second while we cut to our final commercial break. We'll come back for the final question, and we'll be back on Win Garrett's Money. Have you ever wanted to see the moon? Well, you can now. Garrett2188 on Twitter is giving away 2 future free tickets to the moon. Currently in talks with SpaceX and Virgin, Garrett is buying 500,000 tickets to the moon, and you could be a lucky winner. So go ahead and give him a ring-a-ding-ding. That's at Garrett2188 on Twitter. He will also throw in, for a limited time, so act fast, $1 million of cold hard cash. Now, he gives to you today for a moon trip tomorrow. Let him know at Garrett2188. Hey, and we're back, guys. We're back to the show here. And we're here for the final question of Win Garrett's Money. Or goods or services. I forgot. That's the long title. So here we go. The final question. What member of the Inhumans did Johnny Storm date?
Crystal.
Is it Luna Maximoff, Medusa, Crystal, or Sapphirus?
Medusa, sister, Crystal. Final answer.
That is your final answer. Are we sure about this?
Yes.
For $1 billion
Or services.
in goods, services, or cash of Garrett Bartholomew Walls' money. What's Garrett's middle name? Taylor.
Yep.
Walls' money. He's winning it right now at bingo. Is it Crystal? An Inhuman with the ability to psychotically control the 4 classic elements, earth, fire, air, and water, was first introduced along with the rest of the Inhuman royal families on the pages of Fantastic Four. She immediately fell in love with Johnny Storm and became the first character to join the Fantastic Four outside of its original members when Sue Richards went on maternity leave. So there we go.
I won $1 billion. I won $1 billion plus 50,000.
Plus 50,000. Once again, that is in cold hard cash, and the rest will come in terms of goods, services, or cash. He'll decide how.
Yeah.
That money is going to be coming to Alex in the form of cold hard cash, goods, or services. I didn't mention this before. At least $500 million of it has to be in cash. The rest he'll decide. So you at least got $550 out of that. Once again, if you want to be on the show, let us know at Wednesday Comics. Let me put on the old closing credits here. That is at Wednesday Comics, Wednesday Comics 605 at gmail.com. Follow Garrett2188 on Twitter. He's giving away those free trips. At Alex Mastrello. Make sure to congratulate him on Twitter, the world's newest billionaire. And I am your host, Marvin_Saguero. You can find us on Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. Make sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. Who knows what Garrett's going to be giving away next time? I heard he's got a nice collection of Superman action comics that he'll be putting up for the next winner. So we will see there. He just got a sweet Batman on the gargoyle that he might be wanting to get rid of on the next show. So 605-215-1849. That's the number you call. Leave us a voicemail. You can also, if you would like, listen to our book club show, which is coming up. Garrett calls us something which I cannot remember, but it's going to be over
Marvels.
Marvels volume. Oh, excuse me, it's not volume 1. It's just the whole thing. Marvels by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. It does bother me every week that Garrett calls him Kurt Busiek, but not trying to be mean to him, so I don't correct him.
Was it Kurt Busiek?
Busiek.
Busiek.
So you go, Kurt Busiek. I'm going to say it right here, and that's the last time you're going to hear it because he's not going to listen to this. RootsOfSwampThing.com, your definitive source for all things Swamp Thing. Be sure to follow him on Twitter at DC World Swampy. On Facebook.com/RootsOfSwampThing. He's currently looking for writers and contributors to the next issue of Holland Files. Make sure to go to RootsOfSwampThing.com for more information. Also, send him a tweet at DC World Swampy. Say, you know what? Respect the material. Enjoy the material. He is happy that he's getting at least some Swamp Thing out of this DC universe, and looks to be good so far. So, John Borland, the world's #1 collector of Swamp Thing. Well, that's the end of our game show today. Make sure to find us on YouTube also. Search Wednesday Comics. This has been Alex across me, the new billionaire of the planet Earth. As he said, he's got $550 million. And, $500,000.
$500,050,000
in cold hard cash. The rest will come in goods and services. Who knows what he'll get? Maybe he'll give you the Action Comics. Who knows? I'm sure that'll be like $100 worth of it. So you got a lot coming towards you. Probably his car. It's a new car. That's probably about what, good 12.
Give it to yeah.
So he'll get there. Probably what he wins on bingo. We'll give you that too.
Hope so. I mean,
those headphones. That's probably like $5.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been used a lot, so 3, maybe 2. Probably just have to give it to me for free.
Nice phone, but that shit's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say no.
I'll just put them in debt. That's fine.
There we go. We'll see you guys next time. That is Alex Pastrello. It's been a fantastic show. You know what? We came in nicely. Hour 30 is like where we like to come in. Feel like we jam-packed this show with a lot of goods.
Yeah, we did.
A lot of services. Or cold hard cash. For Wednesday Comics, I've been Marvin.
I'm Alex. Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages. And I am the winner.